Hey, Stephen Peterson here. Thank you for joining me on this program, Patterns for Progress. Let me tell you quickly what it's about. It's about taking an acorn, planting it, and getting an oak tree. This is never going to turn into an oak tree as long as it sits here on this desk. But that's what you are. You're full of acorns. Maybe that's not the best way to put it. You've got acorns around you, all around you. And today you're going to plant an acorn or you're going to plant a weed. A weed is a bad habit. It's just something you wish you didn't have. And I'm telling you, if you want to get some oak trees in your life, and you do, you have to plant. You can't hire this done. You can't have me do it. I can't have you do it. And so that's what this whole program is. Patterns for Progress. On one way to water an acorn once it's planted is a pattern. One way to let the acorn die without any attention is a bad pattern, bad habit, bad routine. And so I'm just trying to get you to change one pattern. Throw out one that's not working, one that's producing something you wish you didn't have, and take in a new one. And listen to me. Find the most successful person you can copy. You want to be happy? Don't take a pattern or an acorn or a habit from somebody who's sad all the time. If you want to have more money, then find somebody who is increasing in money without cheating people or stealing people. I'm sorry, I know it's a great way to make money, but payday loans and auto loans, not where you get a new car, but where you borrow against your car and you can be charged as much as 400% interest, that's not a good pattern. Now, maybe you have to do that. I know some people that just had to do it to get through this stretch. A stretch of bad luck, a stretch of bad time. So I'm not putting you down, but I'm telling you, that's not a good pattern for success. I couldn't stand Dave Ramsey for the longest time because he'd say, get out of debt, get out of debt. And I had all these books on how you can use debt to build your wealth. Well, maybe that works for the people with the books. I know I made them wealthier when I bought a book, and I'm not putting them down. I didn't get wealthier. I got poorer. I got more and more debt and more interest. And when I got rid of all my credit cards, amazingly, I have a lot more money. There's a big box store I'm a member of, and I use my debit card in there, but it says, oh, if you get a credit card, we'll give you 3% back on this and 4% back on that. And last time I checked, whoever was, I don't know if it's Visa or MasterCard or American, I don't know who it is, but they were charging between 21 and 28%. So they'd charge me 28%, give me 3%. How about if I take all of that interest and just keep it? See, it's a pattern I hated. It was a painful time in my life. It was not a good time in my life, but I'm so glad I got that pattern. And once in a while, I'm telling you, advertising really sets up patterns. What's in your wallet? You know, you're somebody if you've got the right credit card. Well, who told you you're somebody? They told you. They told you. So if you want, don't copy somebody who's deep in debt if you want to get out of debt. But find one pattern. Listen, like Warren Buffett, he said the most important pattern, habit, or routine in his life is that for years, 60 plus years, he's been reading 500 pages a day. 500 pages a day in a book. And he said that person may take years to write that book, and in a matter of hours, you can learn everything they know. Took him years, and he said it's taken me hours. Well, I've set that up. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm not very close to 500 pages a day. And every day I don't, I go, oh man, I can't. Don't beat yourself up as you set a goal. Say, look for progress. We're going to get 1% better every day. So if yesterday you can only read 5 pages, today read 6 or 5.5, but you see you're making growth. And I've read now hundreds of people on habits and patterns and routines, and every one of them says the best way to have progress is slow, incremental progress. Don't try to go from no pages a day to 500 pages a day. You might lose your job. Just this morning before I'm shooting this thing, I had an idea because I'm constantly looking at habits. I don't want to tell you one. I don't want to tell you about a pattern if I haven't tried it. But I have not tried this one, but it just spoke to me. and it said turn off all technology at night. And so whether that be your phone, I'm required to look at my phone every 30 minutes. Your phone, your iPad, your computer, your TV. I've just found a big chunk of time where I can read every night, and I like to read. It's going to be an easy thing to do. Why didn't I see that before? Because I had a pattern of staring at my phone, my TV, my computer, my iPad. I went, well, I won't get rid of it. I'll just stop it at night. Say, you can change. People tell me all the time, I talk to them about change. If you just, this one change, look at this one change, what change would you do? Well, I do that, but I just can't, because you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Who called you an old dog? Stop calling yourself. If I called you an old dog, those might be fighting words. You're not an old dog. You can learn a new trick. So here's one of the things. I've got 5. I bet you we'll only have time to do 2 or 3. Pick out one of these, and it can really have a positive effect on your life. This one's easy. Write down, this is my book, I write it down in, I carry it with me, and I read it out loud every day. 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm thankful for, and it has changed my outlook. I'm almost embarrassed that something that simple could have a positive change, and it has. And you know what, when I first read this, I was kind of in a down mood, and I mean, I'm not sure there's 2. Well, it got to the point, I got to 10 in a hurry once I started writing them down. So I whittled it down to the 3 that I'm most thankful for. And every day I say it out loud. It's good to create gratefulness or thankfulness. The second one, positive affirmation. Say something positive about yourself. I can change. I can learn. I can break through. I'm not an old dog. I can learn new tricks. Say something about yourself that you wish, oh, if so-and-so would say it, or my wife, or my husband, or my boss, or whatever, my parents, you say it. If nobody else will say it, say something positive about yourself. I was eating a rather nice lunch after we did a taping, 2, 3 years ago, and I spilled something, and it was a brand new clean shirt, and it was greasy. And you know, when I spilled it, I didn't cuss and I didn't swear, but I said, oh, Stephen Paul Peterson. That's my middle name. And the people I was with said, I've never heard anybody use their own name as a cuss word or a curse word. And I realized that's what I was doing, because I'm a recovering perfectionist. I don't want to spill on myself at midnight alone. I sure don't want to spill on myself at a nice lunch. But you know what I just did? You go in the bathroom, you clean it off, and say, okay, after this meeting, I'll go buy a shirt so I can go through the rest of the day. Say something positive about yourself. I've got my little exercise that I do every night. I try to write down. Sometimes I don't get to write it down, but I'll write it in my phone. I'll write it in a book someplace. One thing I've done right. And you know, what's the old saying? Even a blind squirrel comes across an acorn here and there. You got to do something right, if nothing else, by accident, and acknowledge it and say it out loud. Now, I don't know if I'd say it out loud around anybody, because they might say, that's the thing you did right. You had a bad day. You've got to end the day on something positive about yourself. So say something positive. I can learn. I can change. I can win. I can be victorious. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. You're going to believe you before you believe anybody else. So you say it. Right now I'm thinking of a couple of things I need to say every night before I go to bed. Here's one that I think is extremely important. And again, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Perfectionists, I think, struggle with this a lot. And now maybe if you're not a perfectionist, it doesn't even cross your mind. But don't doubt. Do not doubt. If you're going to do something, do it with everything you've got. Now, when I say do not doubt, I'm not telling you to take a blind leap of faith. There's a time to receive counsel. There's a time to look at a project from all different sides. But once you've decided this is the way I'm going to go, stop doubting. Oh man, I'm not the right person. Or I don't think I can do this. Or if you don't think you can, you can't. So you got to get that doubt out. Somebody else can't get that doubt out. Get that doubt out of you. Oh, I wished I were better. To me, that's doubt. Get better. Wishing. I know, I can't remember the football player. Oh, Dan Marino, I believe, said it to Mercury Morris, two old Miami Dolphins, but one of them had a couple of Super Bowl rings, and Dan Marino never got one. And Dan Marino was looking at Mercury Morris's Super Bowl. Oh, I wished I had one of those. And he said, wishing isn't going to get it done. If wishes were dishes, we'd have a closet full. Don't wish it, start it. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. You got to tell yourself when you try to pick up a new pattern, a new habit, a new routine, you probably won't be very good at it. I had a friend try something new just a few months ago, a painting, and her first painting was just exquisite. I said, you've waited way too long to find out you were a painter. And again, don't know what's in that. To me, I look at everything through a perfectionist eyes. I'm sure she could see the mistakes. I was just blown away by her first painting. Her 50th painting I'd have been proud of that, but first painting? So don't doubt. Get doubt out. And don't procrastinate. I had a nice little article on how you can break procrastination, and I was going to read it before we did this taping, but guess what? I put it off. Isn't that funny? I'm going to work on that reading. I'm going to work on that because I think procrastination is one of the worst things for people, and especially for perfectionists. Perfectionists can always see something wrong, a fly in the ointment. There's something wrong with my plan, or there's something wrong with my preparation. Oh man, whatever you can do today, do it. If your goal is to do 500 sit-ups and all you can do is one, then do one. You're never going to wait long enough until you can do 500. You have to grow into that. It's called the law of use. To him who has shall more be given until you have an abundance, but the one who has nothing and won't do anything to get it will be left with nothing. It'll be taken away. It's the law of use. Do one push-up today or one sit-up today, whatever it is. Do one leg lift. And in a matter of weeks, you'll be a lot further along. It's the law of use. You get better. You get stronger. And whatever you do, get 1% better today. Get 1% better. I like that goal. Not 20% better. If I only read 7 pages in a book tonight, I'm going to go, that's better than 5 pages I did 2 nights ago. Get 1% better. And this is something, and I'm trying it today. Plan the start and the end of your day. I plan my start. Now I'm written down, as soon as this is over, I'm going to write down the end of the day. And then what happens in between, I've got some ideas, but there's probably going to be some surprises. There's going to be some U-turns and dead ends and roundabouts. And that's just what happens in most people's day. But do one thing. I'm telling you, to get from an acorn to an oak tree, you're going to have to change a pattern. You're going to have to find one that says, I don't like what it's producing. Or maybe even better, find a pattern that's just dead wrong. You just believed a lie. What's that old Linda Ronstadt song? You're no good, you're no good. Get that out. I don't want that to be your song. I'm well able. I can do this. What does Les Brown always say? Just tell yourself it's possible. It's possible. And every time I say that phrase, now maybe you don't know who Les Brown is, but to me he's one of the great motivational speakers I've ever heard. And when I hear him say it, all sorts of faith and belief, and I can do this. Say something today good about yourself. I'm Stephen Peterson. This program's called Patterns for Progress. We're on every week. Actually, we're on more than every week. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you joining me, and I'd love to hear from you. Change one pattern today, your life will be better like you can't believe. See you.